My previous band was called I.C.O.N, and why talk about that now? I mean, the band stopped working in 2016, 2017, so why talk about that now? I think it's because it had such an impact on my life and an impact on me and who I am as a person and why I'm doing this now. The band started in 2000, a little before that, and we were based in Burnley, in Lancashire. There were three of us at the time. We couldn't get a drummer. They were just none about, or they were very unreliable, so we just ended up getting a drum machine, which I programmed. And for a while, probably 3 or 4 years, there was the three of us and a drum machine. It was a necessary evil. I'd program it and we'd plug it into the PA and off we'd go. And we'd just play, the three of us and a drum machine. And we wrote songs and we gigged like a normal band. And it was something that we did for probably around about 3 years before we finally got a real life drummer, which then was very strange because we were used to playing with the drum machine. And even when we had the drum machine, we were going down to London and Scotland and we were working really, really hard, the three of us, because we wanted it to mean something. We wanted it to work. We'd go to London on a train with the drum machine in a bag, bringing amps. I remember one time we went to London to play at the Ruskin Arms because Iron Maiden had played there in the 70s, and we went down on the train with an amp and a mic stand and a backdrop stuffed in the back of the amp because we wanted to play. We wanted to do something. We were in our 20s. We didn't want to end up working jobs that our parents had had. Not that there was anything wrong with them, but we had aspirations. We wanted to do it, but none of us could drive at the time. None of us knew any management. None of us knew any record labels or anybody famous or anything like that. That was just all, what other people did. We had to work, we felt, twice as hard. And then finally we did get a drummer, and that was working very well for a while. And then that kind of, again, moved the momentum up. And then we started releasing EPs, and the EPs were very good. And they sold out of their initial run. And then finally we got to do an album. And from then on, things just started to move up further and further. And the more that happened, the more we pushed. But it always felt like our location and some of the things we had to fight through, it felt like we were doing it twice as hard. So then we finally got some management. A guy called Steve, lovely guy, really helped us on in those early years. I firmly believe we wouldn't have done anything without Steve being involved initially, which was very, very important. And he put us in front of newer audiences and better venues and got us in touch with, bands, name bands and things like that, something that we'd never done before. And then after that, we just got more ambitious, and then there were lineup changes. I think one of the most important people in my life that I've met is Larry Patterson. Just, through his work ethic, through his humour, and through his vision, and just through, the kind of person he is. And Anna as well, his lovely wife. Meeting Larry and Anna really changed my life in terms of how I saw a band, how I saw our band at the time. And it was then that things really started to mortar, because Larry and Anna had a very strong work ethic, and it gave us a kick up the arse even at that stage. So then, we signed to their label, we had a manager, then we were working with an agent, and all of a sudden we were out supporting bigger names, playing London venues. But it was hard. We sacrificed a lot to get to that point. And then we were on tour in Europe with Geoff Tate for weeks and weeks, 45 minutes a night, absolutely unbelievable. But there we were, hanging with these people and becoming friends, some of which were friends to this day. Then we were out on tour with Udo Dirkschneider and Anvil, play with Breed 77, and started to make friends and started to really, really get our heads above the parapet, if you like, because it was so hard to get the name out. we had an amazing fan base in the UK, and Europe was building nicely. But unfortunately, by that time, you know, money was hard to come by. Key members of the band had lost enthusiasm for it, and it was very, very difficult to sustain and keep going to that level. So eventually it just stopped, and it's a shame because it stopped at a point where we felt like the hard work was beginning to have a positive effect. But it still meant that we'd still needed to sacrifice more money and sacrifice more of our time, and it was just becoming unsustainable. And it's a story common with most bands. So we stopped, and then a few years passed, and then after that, you know, my daughter was born, and then the pandemic happened, and then, you know, I tried some things with Larry, and Larry moved countries, and Larry sacrificed a lot for our band, and so did Anna, and everybody in the band sacrificed a lot more than they needed to get us where we wanted to go, you know, and I'm grateful for that. The experiences that I've had, the people that I've met, the places that I've been, places I never thought I'd go to, have just been life-changing for me. So now, a few years off, if you like, I've had a few years off now, doing other things, running my business and you know, looking after my family and doing that. It's now I feel there's that part of me that wants to do the music again, that wants to connect with an audience, that wants to connect with my musical heart. And I really want to do that again. But the experiences that I had with I.C.O.N were life-changing. It taught me about interacting with people. It taught me about a good attitude. It taught me about work ethic. It taught me about just being cool and hanging with people. It taught me about music, so much. The traveling and the places I've seen, absolutely incredible. I can look back now and say, yeah, I'd change this or I'd change that, but in all honesty, it's all part of a rich tapestry, and I wouldn't change a damn thing. Do you know what? I think I should do a longer documentary on the band. I don't think I've covered even half of it. But yeah, and you know, for everybody that was into I.C.O.N and bought t-shirts and bought albums and supported us financially and through the merch and came to the concerts and everything, thank you very much. You're awesome people, and I hope that you like the music that I'm about to put out.